Welcome to Suite 303. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan, downtown Toronto. Thanks for tuning in today. We have a great show. On the show today, we have Olympian Susan Stewart. She's going to be on talking all about her wonderful career in the Olympics and this wonderful book we're going to be talking about. So stay tuned. We're going to have a wonderful show. Again, I'm Jay Stoyan, and you're watching Suite 303. We'll be right back.
Life has a way of throwing you curveballs. Sometimes you're lucky enough to see it coming. Other times it just hauls off and hits you in the face without warning. When my second child was born and turned out to be special needs, that was a curveball that neither my first wife nor I saw coming. However, it's not the fact that life saw fit to hit us with this challenge that matters. It's the daily struggle to adapt and overcome that makes us who we are. Being both a blended family and one with a special needs child definitely makes some days a real challenge to navigate successfully. It takes a full measure of teamwork from everyone involved to make the family work. Most days, we don't have it all together, but together, we have it all.
Welcome back to Suite 303. I'm your host, Jay Stone, and on the show today we have Olympian Susan Stewart. Susan, so thankful for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is wonderful. Let's just show your book, and then we're going to get all into your wonderful career, personal and business, I guess. So again, it's called Unbreakable, people. Get this book. You will be inspired. It's such a great read. So we're going to talk more about it later in the show. Let's talk about your life now, Susan. Again, thank you for being on the show. We're so excited to have an Olympian on the show today. This is great. So if you can tell us a little bit about your background, where you grew up, and then we'll get into the 1996 Olympics. So,
no problem.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your life, where you grew up, and your family. And
Okay, well, I lived in the Sherman Homelands area. I'm from Mississauga. That's where I grew up. Childhood, little tomboy. Played every kind of sport there was. Played goalie for the boys on my street. I was just a tomboy. Just played loved sports, loved people, loved being outdoors. And also, while I was outdoors, I had a lot of bumps and scratches and trips to the emergency. That's my childhood. And then we moved to the Sunkist area.
Okay.
In Mississauga, that's near Erin Mills Parkway. And then now I am where we reside now, near Winston Churchill area. Okay. Still in Mississauga. I grew up in Mississauga.
It's a beautiful
over 40
area.
years.
Beautiful area.
Thanks.
And so tell us how you found basketball. How did basketball come into your life?
Okay. Well, I was going to my high school at Streetsville Secondary School, and they had a tryout for the midget girls basketball team.
Okay.
And I had great teachers, Deborah Pratt and Kathleen Arroway. They encouraged me to try out for the team, and for me, this was great to actually get an opportunity to try out for a team. Fell in love with the game of basketball because of the two female coaches that I had, Deb Pratt and Kathleen Arroway. And they really got me to love the game of basketball. And plus, watching the Lakers, Showtime in LA, I was a fan of Magic Johnson, and so fell in love with the game that way too. And then from there, I got an opportunity to play on the Ontario basketball, represent the province of Ontario, and we went to a tournament in Lethbridge, Alberta. That sort of prompted my career. And then while I was in grade 11, I had an opportunity to play on the senior women's national team, where we went on a tour in the United States, and I got to play a little bit with them and get a little taste of what the national team was all about.
That must have been very exciting. And I know you were saying you played guard.
Yes, I'm a number 2 guard.
Wow. So you got into basketball, at an age around 12? Seriously?
I'm a late bloomer.
Okay, so now were you already tall at age 12, or you haven't sprouted yet?
Tall and athletic.
Tall and athletic.
Athletic, and just I was very lean as a player, not now, but very lean and skinny and tall.
And when did you? So when you reached grade 11, is that when you maybe thought, I I'm maybe not too bad at this game.
Yes, I mean I got an opportunity to play on the Ontario, like I said, the Ontario Basketball Association. I played on their provincial team and had success while I was there, and then I moved on there and played on the junior women's national team of Canada. Had success there, and then played on the women's development team, national team, and had success there, and then I finally had a crack at the 1996 Olympics.
Yeah, so tell us, again, we're here with Olympian Susan Stewart. She tell us all about her exciting career, chasing the Olympics and going to the Olympics, and then we're going to get into her after Olympic days, I guess. So tell us about that moment between, say, going to the States for your first time on a national team and then getting recognized and going to the Olympics. How did that happen?
Well, you know, there was something, they don't have it anymore.
Okay.
It's called Ontario Top 40. And all the top 40 athletes in Ontario met at Queen's University. And it was there that I was actually recognized by many Ontario coaches at university. And one in particular is no longer with us. Peter Ennis took a liking to the way I played, and I was recruited to go to Laurentian University, and I had huge success. My first 2 years while I was there, we won 2 national championships.
Wow!
And I believe it was my 3rd year. I was Player of the Year in all of universities in Canada. So
wow!
I mean, I think it was from those successes that helped me propel me into the position that I got to play on the national team.
You know what I noticed you said as we're talking, and it stuck in my mind, is you mentioned your coaches.
Yes.
How important they were to your life and career. Like when you said your first 2 coaches, they really propelled you to the next level in a way, and then Peter, like you just said.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that, and then keep on going, yeah.
Well, I believe that in coaching, relationships is everything. And I believe that my high school coaches were very integral in my development. They're with me every step of the way. They were in my recruiting, making sure that I was taken care of. I mean, when I went to Sudbury, Ontario, I mean, Peter Ennis was like, you know, I left at 18, 19, and he just took over to 26. He was like my father, my friend, my coach.
Wonderful.
And he really looked after me, and he also had a particular interest in my family. Getting to know my mother and my father.
So important.
I think that's what led me to go to Laurentian, was because of the fact that he really took specific, you know, he was really interested in getting to know me as a player, but also my family.
And as a person.
As a person.
So you said the top 40. Okay, so now you're recognized as a top 40. Now so take us to the next step that leads us up to getting, tell us, is it a phone call? Is it a knock on your door?
Well, it's actually a letter
Ooh.
That they write, and they personally invite you to a tryout. And because of what they've seen, because of that top 40, they get to see all the athletes in Ontario who are the top, in the top.
Did you have an idea?
Not really.
Not really?
Not really. Because
Not really.
You know what? I just love playing basketball, and I loved the people, and it wasn't like work. I mean, yes, there's a challenge of wanting to make the team, but I didn't know where basketball would take me.
Tell the camera, take the camera through that opening the mailbox letter, and who's the first person you showed?
Well, when I got the letter in the mail, I mean, I showed, obviously my parents are the first ones to see that letter, and the excitement, and, you know, telling the coaches and their friends, and it was very exciting for me to be recognized as, you know, get an opportunity to play for my country, to represent my country, right?
Now, was that in 96 or 95 or 94? Or?
That was way
back?
Yeah, way back. That's probably in the late 80s.
Wow.
So early 90s, yeah.
So from that long, you were preparing for your chance.
Yes.
So, okay, so let's move right ahead. Let's move right to 96 now. So take us maybe, prep us for your excursion down to Atlanta. Tell us what happened.
Well, I had an opportunity after I finished my career at Laurentian University. I played professionally in Switzerland. Played there for a bit. And then before Switzerland, I played a year in Germany.
Okay.
I played it's called Halle, near Leipzig. And from there, then I went to Switzerland to play for a team in Breckendorf, Regensdorf, and it was there that I took it really seriously about competing. I'm playing on the national team, playing against the world's best, chasing after a medal, and so I prepared myself like that. I was playing, I was averaging probably 40 points a game over there because I was asked to come there to play and to score points. And so that's the pressure they put on a lot of the foreign players to win games and
so you are our Canadians Michael Jordan.
I just enjoyed the game, and it just gave me that. I loved playing I played the boys too, so I was very encouraged to play. But I think to actually qualify at McMaster University, we had a American Cup tournament because the Americans already punched their tickets to Atlanta.
Yeah.
So there was still one more spot open. So we had to beat Cuba. We had to beat Argentina. We had to beat Puerto Rico. So we had this huge tournament here at McMaster University, and we ended up beating Cuba back to back.
And they have a pretty good team, right?
They were ranked 4th in the world.
Yeah, I remember.
And we punched our ticket to Atlanta, and that day I had the best career that I could ever have with Canada because I was like the top scorer, first time ever, and in front of my family and friends. It was really spectacular. So it was all over the Hamilton Spectator.
Wow!
And it was just funny, an opportunity to play in front of your family because most of the time I'm always playing somewhere in Europe or somewhere in South America where my parents don't really get to see when I'm away. Because just to give you a little touch, when I play university basketball, it goes from October till about April.
Okay.
And then May to August is national team work.
Wow, busy.
So I'm just around the clock playing basketball, starting all over again. So I did that for quite a while.
Well, quite a while. Okay, so now we're down in Atlanta. So you guys punched your ticket.
Yes.
You got invited down there. You're down there now. So tell us 3. I'm sure you could tell us 1,000 memories.
Yes.
Tell us the top 3 memories that you had in your experience in Atlanta.
Top 3.
Top 3.
Top 3 was number 1. Everyone knows me. I like to take care of my hair. So the one thing that was really stood out for me was that they had free hairdressing in Atlanta. So they took care of all the athletes, all the Atlanta hairdressers opened up their
shops,
their shop. Well, not their shop. They opened up their talents.
Okay.
And provided all the athletes free hairstyles.
Wonderful.
Everything. So that was one.
Nobody knew that.
No one.
I've never heard that one.
Yes.
That's great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
The second one was when Muhammad Ali lit the cauldron.
Oh.
That was very powerful. Just to come out when they call your country and everyone's excited to start these games.
That's a memory that'll last forever for
Never
people.
forget.
Especially if you were there.
Yes.
Like you.
I was there and I'll never forget. I'm looking up there and he's shaking, and just to be there and just the whole aura, just the whole thing was just unreal.
It's like yesterday, isn't it? It's like yesterday.
Yes.
I still remember like yesterday that he did that.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's 2, and then the third one was it's kind of it's not top 3. It's not a huge one, but people don't know that McDonald's is one of the sponsors.
Yeah.
And so they gave free McDonald's to you as an athlete. So you just walk over the counter and tell them what you want.
Oh, yeah.
And they give you free. So it's not my top 3, but that was kind of
3 things that you remember. Yeah,
I remember that. Yeah.
But wouldn't your coach get upset at you guys for eating McDonald's?
I didn't eat there, but no, because it wasn't food to help us perform well.
Okay.
But the gymnasts, watching the gymnasts after they finish their week of competition, go in there and just eat wolf the food down was kind of spectacular to me.
So because I'm sure a lot of people, because you're at 90, a long time ago, 96. So tell our viewers how the team did.
Okay.
And tell us, obviously, if we can touch a little bit on your experience or your memory of like the bombing. So tell us about how the team did.
Okay. Well, the team, we went in 7th in the world, and it's kind of disappointing in the 19th Olympics in that we finished 11 out of 12 teams.
Okay.
And the pivotal game for me was our game against Italy. And I just want to share a quick story.
Sure.
Because we were carded, because we were lived in the purple zone at the university there, and Georgia. That's where we stayed, Georgia Tech. And I remember we were in we were called, the Canadian team was in the purple zone.
Okay.
And we were carted by golf carts to our buses. So we had that's how we got to our venue. was they pick us up at a certain location and they take us to where the buses were. So while we're being picked up, we got picked up first, and then the Italian team, they were coming along too, but their physio person didn't understand there's a certain way you have to enter the golf course and a certain way you have to exit. And he didn't properly exit, and he ended up having an accident and injuring his femur.
Oh, yeah,
his foot.
Yeah.
So the Italian team was so distraught. So we're playing them now, and they're not playing their best in the first half.
Okay.
So we're thinking, this, we're not thinking this is great, but we're like, we beat them, we're into the medal round.
Ah. Okay.
So at halftime, we were winning. By second half, I don't know what someone said to them, because they're lethargic and sort of like upset about what happened to the trainer. And all of a sudden, they ended up beating us. And that was a downer for us, because we're like, oh, darn, we're not in that medal round.
So now you're out of the medal round.
Now we're out of the medal round. And so we have to sort of like pick ourselves up to play, and we end up finishing 11 at 12. And I know that we were better than that.
And US won, right? Did they win?
USA won. They just took it away.
How much better is their team than, say, our team or any other team? Were they just like head and shoulders back then, or? Back
then, they were definitely head and shoulders. You know what? I think the number one thing with them, and this is how I felt about Brazil and about Cuba and the rest of them that were the top four, was their confidence. Confidence is everything, and I thought that we could compete with them, but they were just so athletic. A lot of teams that we played with, they're really athletically gifted teams.
Why don't we take a quick break? We're here with Olympian Susan Stewart. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and she's going to just finish up our discussion about the 1996 Olympics with the bombing. I want to see what type of experience she felt during that day, and other people throughout, I guess, the venue. And then we're going to get into something else that you really want to hear. So stay tuned. We'll be back with Suite 303.
Hey guys, I'm Greg Westlake, captain of the Canadian National Sledge Hockey Team, here to talk to you real quickly about Bring Back the Game by TaylorMade and Adidas, brought to you by Talk Kierstad. Listen, everybody, whether you're in school, whatever sport you're playing, you want a teacher that has passion, somebody that shows up, looks you in the eye, and wants to make you better. Todd's that guy. In the US, 1 out of every 6 golfers gives it up due to some sort of mental or physical impairment. We think that's ridiculous. Todd's going to fix that number, and he's going to make it skyrocket. I'm missing both my feet. I saw today somebody that had a stroke, people that had mental difficulties. Todd worked with them all individually, gave them the perfect care that they needed, and made them better. I fully support this program. If he's doing an event near you, please come out, get on the course, let's bring back the game.
Welcome back to Suite 303. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan, and on the show today we have Olympian Susan Stewart. Make sure you do get her book. It's truly inspirational, unbreakable. What a fantastic story that Susan is sharing with us today. We're just talking about the 1996 Olympics. I'm just going to ask her 2 remaining questions, and then we're going to move on. One question would be, where were you exactly when the bombing hit, Susan?
I was in the Georgia our residence.
Okay.
I was awoken by our team leader, and we had to have a head count. And I was very nervous because I thought my coach, who had leukemia, had something had happened to him. So, when you're woken up out of your sleep, and you're like doing the head count, and you're thinking, instantly I just thought something had happened to Peter Innes. And I was kind of sad till they told us what the gist of what it was about.
Do you remember what the next step was for your team? Like after they realized it was a bombing and they told your team, what were you guys to do next? Just stay in your room, relax, just wait for the next instruction kind of thing?
We're basically, yes, exactly. We were just amongst, to keep to our room. We shared the dorm with the Canada volleyball team. Okay. So we just stayed put and just want to make sure that we were all together, knew what was missing.
And I wonder, I can't recall what day the bombing was of the actual
No, I can't
Olympics.
remember.
But do you remember? Experience a big difference after the bombing in the venue itself? Like, was it just chaotic depression, nervousness?
No, I think they did a wonderful job. The security in the athletes village is phenomenal. I mean, when we go out, when we come in, the military is under our buses. They're checking to make sure that we're not bringing in bombs.
Top notch, eh?
When we leave on foot, we had to do a hand check to make sure that we are who we are, and they go through our bags. So there was a lot of security. Was awesome.
It was good, eh?
At the Olympic Games, but it was a little bit too much in terms of you make sure that you carry what it is, because it's really a hassle, but it's also good.
That's great. Okay, let's finish the Olympics on a good note. Where were you when Donovan won the gold?
Well, we were playing our final game at the Georgia Dome.
Ooh, okay.
And we were at halftime, and they're just about to have the race. And I remember placing a bet with one of the security guards at the Georgia Tech Dome, and he was telling me that Donovan was not going to win, and I told him, no way, he's going to win. And I didn't get to see the race because I was also competing.
Yeah.
But I heard about it, and I just smiled at him when I found out after the game that Donovan had won, and
that's great.
So I told him, I told you.
That's great. Sorry, USA, we won. Yeah. Okay, let's move along. But what a great story. I'm sure you have so many more. We're gonna have to have Susan back and just she probably has a wealth of stories about the 1996 Olympics and so much more. But what we want to do now is we want to move it ahead, and this is going to be a very heartfelt experience, story that can change your life in an instant. So Susan, why don't you take us away and take us to that day?
Okay. First of all, I'm just going to give you a little background.
Set it up, yeah.
I was at Malone College at the time. Now it's Malone University. I moved to that status. But I was doing my master's in Christian ministry and sport ministry. And I was also an AAU coach for the Swiss Selects. And while I was away at a tournament in Lodi, Ohio.
And you were coaching now.
I was coaching now. I slipped and fell in my hotel bathroom, hit my head, and didn't think nothing of it. And by the time I got to the gym, I was going through concussion-like symptoms. I was vomiting at our post game and didn't say nothing to nobody. Had another vomiting experience while we were having post game meal, and they were very concerned about me, the parents, because they didn't know what happened. So I told nobody I fell and hit my head. And prior to that, when I hit my head initially, I went to go lay down in my bedroom, in my hotel room, and I could faintly hear while I was laying down a knock, like a knocking on my door, telling me to get up, and just pounding on the door. And then when I finally got up, I approached the door, and Mr. Presley, who was one of the players' fathers, was like, "Susan, what are you doing? We're all on the bus waiting for you. Like, it's time to go." And I was so embarrassed that here I am, the coach. Mm-hmm. I stepped in, and I finally get out and packed. My bags are already packed, ready to go. I finally get out there, and I'm just feeling kind of like a daze. I hit my head, and I laid down and getting up. And as I'm on the bus, and now we're getting off the bus to have our post-game, our pre-game talk, I started to vomit profusely in the hallway, and I didn't know it was going, like a tap turned on. I didn't know what was going on, and it stopped after a while, but I was totally embarrassed by the whole incident and didn't say nothing to nobody about me hitting my head. And coached the game.
Wow.
Then we were on our way for a post-game meal because we lost that game, and so we were out of the medal round. So we were on our way back to Chagrin, Ohio, where my car was in the parking lot of Parkside Church, and I basically had, after the post, I was feeling really groggy, and I felt like, really getting sick again. And we had stopped for ice cream at this time because the girls wanted ice cream, and I started to vomit profusely again at this restaurant.
Wow.
And this is when the parents were really concerned now, like, what is going on? And I assured them, because I stopped, that I'm okay, and didn't tell them again about the fall. and slept in the bathroom. And they put me at the back of the bus with a bucket, like college days.
Yeah.
After
Do what you gotta do, yeah.
And I went back there and I slept till I got to Sugarland, Ohio, where my car was. And they begged me, the parents, to stay in Sugarland, Ohio with one of the parents.
Yeah.
Make sure it's okay. And I said, no, I have to go back to Kenton, Ohio, where I lived, near the Football Hall of Fame, NFL Football Hall of Fame. And I drove all the way back there. I don't know how I drove back there. God knows. And when I get to my house now, I couldn't take my bags out of the car. I went directly to my room, went right to my bed. And by that time, my mother had called to see how my weekend went. And I'm like, Mom, cannot talk to you now. I'm not feeling well. And she was like, well, you have to get something to eat. And I was like, I'm not hungry. And during that time, I was also feeling like I needed to go to the bathroom. I didn't know what was going on with my body. And I finally, to make a long story, I finally gathered enough strength to go to the bathroom. And while I was in the bathroom, I'm looking in the mirror, I'm like holding on to the
counter, whatever.
The sink.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is going on? And as I look into the sink, I fall backwards. Where I took down the curtains and hit my head on the soap dish. Again. Second time. And this time my roommate, who was up in the attic, heard the commotion, came running downstairs, Stephanie, to see if I'm okay. And I couldn't stand up. And that's when she said, you know what? Let me call the ambulance at Mercy Medical Hospital. And and the week prior to that, she had gotten my address book. She had my address book in case of anything could happen. So she was able to see that book and phone my parents back home. Because when I was being taken by the ambulance, when the ambulance came, she called my parents right away to let them know that what happened to me. So they left 1 something or 2 something in the morning, and they drove all the way down to Mercy Medical Hospital. And
so you were already at the hospital?
Yes, I was at the hospital, and the folks at the hospital were amazed that I was able to retain a lot of the information, because when my mother got there, she was able to say, yeah, that's right. Okay. So they were like, a person in my condition doesn't really make it to the hospital, so they were quite amazed that I was able to give them the information that I gave them.
Wow. And then I understood that they flew you back to Toronto?
Then because the hospital bills were mounting, and I was airlifted from Mercy Medical Hospital to Trillium Health Center in Mississauga there.
And how long did you spend? So tell us, let's go ahead now. So now you're at Trillium.
Yes.
And now I believe you said that you were in a coma or something like that?
I was, when I left, a lot of the hard work was done at Trillium, at Mercy Medical Hospital, USA.
US.
I had a feeding tube in my stomach, I had a trach.
Wow.
I spent like a month from April 13th to about May, in that time, May, June.
Devastating.
And after that, I was airlifted back to Trillium, and I wasn't walking.
Wow.
I wasn't talking because I had that trach and I had wires and stuff all over me. So when I got to Trillium now, they had taken out the feed. I still had the tube in my stomach. I was looking down at myself and like, what's going on? And I still had the trach, and they took the trach and the feeding tube out on the Trillium Health Center. And then after that, I was sent to Toronto Rehab, and that's where the hard work began. That's where they had me in a wheelchair, and I had to take occupational therapy, speech therapy, physical therapy. And
so do you remember what year that the incident happened?
Yes, I remember. It was definitely 2005, April. 2005,
and then let's jump ahead now. So take us through how many years of a recovery. And I know, like you said, you're recovering every day still, right?
Yes.
So take us where you finally maybe saw a little bit of light, like, oh my goodness, I feel back like Susan a little bit again. Or
I think it was after my time at Toronto Rehab, and then I was an outpatient, but I got to finally come home.
Yeah. How long did that take? Do you recall?
That happened in September of 2005, right?
Okay, so not that, so a couple months maybe, right? A couple months?
No, from April September.
And then you were able to go home.
Yes, after Toronto Rehab. There was a lot of stages.
Okay.
I had to live on my own at Toronto Rehab for like a week. They want to prepare, like one thing that Toronto Rehab does is they prepare you before you go home to be independent again. Okay. So they had me in my own apartment. I can still ring a bell if I need an emergency, but they had me in my own apartment, learning how to prepare my own meals. Wow. Learning how to, speak, physical therapy. I mean, I went to Toronto Rehab in a wheelchair, then from wheelchair to a walker, and then from a walker to a cane. And I left her in a cane. So you had to kind of start everything all over again, eh? Ground zero. Wow. All the way up. And you did it. Yes. So it was a lot of work, though. Hey, people, look! What a story, and it's just a beginning. It's not. Yeah, you're still going through it, but what an inspiring story for Susan to share with us, Susan. I really thank you. So before we let you go, I got a couple more questions, but how has obviously the health world has been so supportive for you? Yes. Have the Olympic world been supportive towards you? Family, my basketball alumni, they've been extraordinary. They've been fantastic. I mean, the support I have received from Basketball Ontario, Basketball Canada. I mean, the players that I've played with, my family, my friends have been. They've been wonderful to me. That's great. And I think that makes a big difference when you have the support and the encouragement. And my church family has been awesome too. And I want to make sure I mention that because so important. And then also the FABIS community, the brain injury, have been very supportive. So I've received a lot of support all around. Everyone I'm connected to has been very supportive. That's wonderful. And I want to let you know that the Disability Channel, you can hopefully you can add that to your platform as support. We were talking off camera before we let Susan go. We were just talking how your life can change in an instant. Yes. Because we were talking off camera before, and Susan said, before I had my fall, I knew what disabilities were, but it wasn't really in my wheelhouse because I wasn't disabled or I didn't really have family members. So it was like, I know, but you can become disabled in an instant. So just let everybody know that, one day you could be a star athlete. You can be up there. And I mean, for me, it's been a humbling experience because I remember when I first got to, as an outpatient, I was at South Common Community Center, working on, doing some training and getting back into shape. I couldn't even lift a pound of weight. Wow. And before I used to lift a lot of weight. A lot of weight. And so for me, it's like even now, I'm on the treadmill, elliptical, and I'm holding on for dear life. And it's amazing how your life can change in an instant. And I was 35 years old when this happened to me, so. But you're feeling good today, though. I'm feeling wonderful, excellent. That's great. So if people want to find out more information or purchase Susan's book, Unbreakable, I would highly recommend it. It's a great read. Susan, if people want to reach out to you or hear more about your story, where could they go? Well, I should let you know that not only with this book, I'm working. I have the itch to write another one, and it's coming soon. Okay. But I'm on Twitter. I'm on all the social media. On Twitter, I am Susan Stewart. Okay. For Facebook, my handle is Susan L. Stewart. And for Instagram, I'm Sue L. Stewart 7. That's great. And we'll put up all the information on our website too, along with you being able to see it on the show here. We'll put the scrolls up and everything. So I want to thank Susan for being on the show today. It was a wonderful story. You're going to be seeing more of Susan with the TDC in the near future. I don't want to give out too many secrets. But yeah, you're gonna be seeing more of Stewart on our platform. So this is great. We really appreciate Susan Stewart, and we really appreciate the community for rallying around her from the health community to the faith community, and of course the family and sports community. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in today. I'm your host, Jay Stoyan. We'll see you next time on Suite 303.